Oh my goodness. Manny Pacquiao just loses to Jeff Horn by unanimous decision, folks. Let's talk about it. Let's chop it up. We got a lot to go through with this one. Let's go. Boom, 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 boom. I was trying to do something kind of cool for the intro, but forget it. Failed. Just watch the show. Hope you enjoy. What's up, sports fans? You are tuned into another episode of the Amazing Eric Sports Show. We just finished watching the Manny Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn fight, and oh Lord, that was quite the decision, folks. 117, 111, 115, 113, 115, 113. Jeff Horn wins via unanimous decision. I'm in shock. Let me first go ahead and start with this. Let me give my thoughts on the decision. I did not think the decision, the way I had it scored, I didn't score it round by round, but I felt like Pacquiao won the fight 115, 113-ish, maybe 116, 113, something like that, 3-2 points. I agree with Tim Bradley. If you notice, right before the 12th round, Tim Bradley actually tells Teddy Atlas and Joe Tessitore, folks, this fight is a lot closer, I think, than we are reporting it, and we are actually throwing it out to the fans. He felt the fight was closer. I was speaking on the phone with my dad, and I told him the same thing. I felt like the fight was close, and oh my God, was Tim Bradley right as far as what the judges saw. Do you think it was home cooking? Do you think it was the right decision? Do you think it was controversy? Let's talk about this thing. Now, let's just get beyond the controversy of the decision. Let's talk about the actual fight. The first thing is, I think Manny Pacquiao and Team Pacquiao actually underestimated Jeff Horn. That's what I think. I know I underestimated Jeff Horn. Jeff, I'm sorry, brother. I am sorry, Jeff Horn. I underestimated you. I thought you would be out of there within 4 to 5 rounds. That's what I thought. Shows you how much I know. Jeff Horn came to fight. Manny Pacquiao thought he was actually going to fight this guy, but he ended up fighting this guy. That's who he had in the ring. Now let's talk about the fight. Let's talk specifically about the fight. Let's get into the specifics. Jeff Horn came out in the first round. The first round, I noticed Jeff Horn was fighting Manny Pacquiao a lot. I mean, just in the clinches and the roughness, not stylistically speaking, but in the clinches and in the roughness of his approach, he reminded me a lot of Marcos Maidana in the first fight with Floyd Mayweather. Coming out, showing the legend no respect, taking his forearm in the clinch, bending Manny Pacquiao's head back, taking his uppercuts in the clinch, reaching over, actually rabbit punching, hitting Manny on the back of the head, letting Manny Pacquiao know it's going to be a long night. There is no respect, and also letting it be known really early, I didn't come to lay down, I came to win. Another thing I noticed, stylistically speaking, small nuances of what was happening in the fight. You know the saying, he fights fire with fire? Jeff Horn actually fought angles with angles. Now, albeit his angles were sloppy, and as Teddy said, he was coming in fat with his angles, meaning he was too squared up. If people don't know what that means, when they say he was coming in fat, meaning he was too squared up, too much of his body, he was too flat when he would come in. But even through all of those things, Jeff Horn used a lot of angles in this fight. He was turning, and I don't think Pacquiao was expecting him to do that. It was actually throwing off some of Pacquiao's angles because Jeff Horn himself was actually using angles. He was fighting angles with angles. There were also little subtle things happening, and I noticed where it could just be slippage in Pacquiao. Usually, Manny Pacquiao, if you look through his career, you come up in a bad way if you try to exchange with him. If you open up, meaning if you go into your punches right when he goes into his punches during his prime, Manny Pacquiao absolutely destroyed people when they would try to open up with him. Go back to the Miguel Cotto fight. Every time Cotto would try to punch at the same time as Pacquiao, that's where he would almost get dropped almost every time. But in this fight, Jeff Horn was actually able to have some success. Now, I'm saying all this, but at the same time, Manny Pacquiao was still sticking that straight left in there, even though that straight left was not as accurate. A lot of times we see this when fighters get older, when they age a little bit, their punches, their accuracy gets off. He still had speed, he still had foot movement, but that left hand was not quite the heat-seeking missile that it used to be. Pacquiao was having trouble, if you notice, landing the left, and when he would actually land the left, Jeff Horn was actually able to take it. He was bigger, he was stronger, he was younger, and he just kept pressing the pace. One thing that I was telling my dad and my nephew as we were watching the fight and texting and talking about it is, if you notice Pacquiao's face, notice his face. He started getting cut. He was bleeding out of the top of both sides of his head. And I could tell Pacquiao had a look on his face like, man, I didn't come here for this. This is why we picked this fight, because this was supposed to be an easy fight. It's more like a tour type of fight for me. I came for a pretty fight. I'm bleeding, and I'm in the middle of a real fight. I could see the realization. I could see the recognition in Pacquiao's eyes when he kind of looked at Jeff Horn like, man, this dude is really fighting. This dude is really here to win. I actually felt like the fight was pretty close going down the end. I had Pacquiao up. I still think Pacquiao edged the fight out. If I had a scorecard, I would have given the fight to Pacquiao. But I had the fight close, and then we had, I think that was the big round, the 9th round, where the referee wanted to stop the fight. Pacquiao steps on the gas. He starts unloading. Jeff Horn's side, I think it was the right side of Jeff Horn's face, starts to look like a pack of hamburger meat that we will all be cooking here in a few days on the 4th of July. That was the grill sound. That face was tore up on that side, and Pacquiao was just stepping into it. But if you notice at the end of that, go back and watch the fight. I'm sure all you guys have it on the DVR. At the end of that rally in the 9th round, Manny Pacquiao actually starts to tire. He starts to get tired, and he starts to just, And I had a feeling if Jeff Horn could make it, Pacquiao was not going to press him in the 10th round because, let's face it, folks, Pacquiao is 38 years old. So I knew he was going to have to regroup. And Manny Pacquiao has been through a lot of wars. Mucho. So the 10th round goes by pretty much like they both were trying to regain their footing. Jeff Horn was trying to get his sea legs back under, and Pacquiao's trying to catch a second win. Then we get to the 11th round, another hard-fought round. It was sloppy. Jeff Horn made it ugly, and it got to the 12th round. And if you guys noticed, did you guys notice that the clock was off for the whole night? I noticed it in the Shane Mosley fight and in other fights. The bell would be ringing when it was like 12, 13 seconds left on the clock. The bell in the 12th round actually rang with like 9 seconds left on the clock. So they were having clock issues the whole night. Jeff Horn, I think, won the 12th round. I felt like he won the 12th round. He had Pacquiao on the ropes, and that didn't seal it because one judge had it 117, 111. I don't know what fight he was watching, but the other two judges that kind of sealed it up for them. So Jeff Horn wins the fight. Is Pacquiao slipping? Of course, he's 38. Does this mean the end of Pacquiao? Is he just going to stop right here? I see a rematch between these two. I don't know about you guys, but before any Mayweather rematch with Pacquiao, I think Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao are going to come back. They're going to do it again on the rematch. I'm not going to hold you any longer. Check out my other videos, folks. Amazing Eric Show, brand new channel. Get in that comment section. Tell me what you thought. Great fight. We thought this was just going to be an easy fight for Manny Pacquiao. However you scored it, this was actually a great fight. Holla at your boy. Peace.